Hey, how are you doing? It's Keith. I just want to announce that I'm going to be adding more speaking about the parts of life that have to do with the spirit, emotion, and living more of a well-rounded life that's so far beyond thinking that the whole deal with life is all determined about what we eat and how much activity we get, how much athleticism we have of like presenting, kind of getting back to like what I originally started this blog on, which was originally called Beyond Raw Food. Of now I'm really focused. I'm really finding out what it's about. My original entrance into this world was from this book. This is a new printing of this book. You can kind of tell. Survival in the 21st Century. This book came out in, I don't know, 1979, 1980. I sort of bought it within a year or two of the first printing. So we're going to talk a lot more about what we want, about, there's a lot of like people can't understand why they can't like break through and live up to all the like dreams and potentials they want. And it's why is because you're not aware that we're emotional beings. We want to feel good. We want to be in love. We want to be in love with ourselves. We want to have a deeper connection with something that is deeper, that's not just this sort of superficial life. And 2 years ago, I had my heart gutted from a relationship that I was in. And it was a great thing that happened because it's like out of these really dark moments, which is kind of where society has been. It's kind of what society has been. It's kind of like what it is. But it's out of these like really darkest hours of where we find out who we really are. If we don't just like kind of blow those off and just keep going on, we really wind up determining really what we're all about. For me, I've always had an interest in the spiritual life. 2 years ago, I still wanted to be in a relationship. Now, I'm kind of real interested in myself being alone and all the things about myself and having less attachments, just being into the things that are important to me. It's really simplified my life. I mean, it's just all my musical instruments, all my health food, my spiritual life, the regularity of having a daily practice. Going to talk about that stuff a lot more. A lot about emotional healing, a lot about our childhood, a lot about angels. I work a lot with angel. I work very specifically with one angel, a very prominent angel called Archangel Raziel. A lot more about manifesting what you want, working with basic magical principles, and I'm not really into any one thing ideally. Like a little bit of witchcraft, a little bit of high magic, a little bit of like philosophical ideals coming from Crowley of like kind of like do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Same as my food, of just where we find out like who we really are as being gods, as being creators. That's it really. Don't want to make this video too long. I just want to tell you I'm gonna talk a lot more freely about that stuff. Get in touch a lot more with this big transformation that's going on in the individual right now. 2015 is a big year of like seeing a lot of change. Starting in 2012, we had this Pluto-Uranus square. I'm going to talk a lot more about astrology. But the Pluto-Uranus square started in 2012. It's become more prominent as of March 2015. And it's a sort of a relationship with planets that we haven't seen since 1965, which is known as the 60s. And where we're at right now, it's going to make the 60s look pretty like not insignificant, but not near as like explosive as these times we're in right now, of where technology. We're in a world where nobody really has to work anymore, of where it's just like all these lovely things that are available, cell phones and everything, and we're going to bring a lot more depth into that stuff of learning how to work with that and seeing all these amazing tools that we have. So we've seen gay marriage legalized in America. We see a lot of people pissed off about that. We see all of this like industrialized racism. There's going to be a reaction from that. There already is a reaction from that. The abolishing of the Confederate flag, which is like so atrocious that has not been treated on the same level as the Nazi swastika. So change is going on. This summer we have Saturn in Scorpio. And all of this stuff, this is not like I'm an all big astrology guy, but this is just all stuff that should be paid attention to of like, why is this going on? Oh, well, there's a bigger cosmic purpose. So over here is my website, my Bandcamp. And over here is just songs and all that stuff that I have on my other YouTube channel called Second Culture Music. Do me a favor and just click on those. If you don't give a fuck about my music, if you don't give a fuck about music in general, if you don't give a fuck about art, if you enjoy what I have to say, please just click on those, because it's sure as fuck when somebody is going to come along and do something or be slightly interested in me, and there's a difference between having 147 hits and 3,470 hits. It just helps me out a lot. So anyways, this is Keyth saying it's going to be a lot more unedited, a lot more talk about things that have still everything to do with the body, to do with food, this physical. This is how this spaceship here, this body, the spaceship that is the spaceship of our soul. It's still the number one thing, or at least the number one thing about the way we experience things in this dimension.